Fostering a professional, cohesive, and efficient workplace is essential for any organization. An educational institution is no different. In fact, I would argue it is more important. The students in our schools are our future. We owe it to them to give them the best possible learning environment available. Administrators and teachers, as well as other staff, can go a long way into setting the atmosphere, as well to set role model standards for these future leaders. In this podcast, I will be discussing how trust can get the most out of the school climate to enhance the learning process. Trust is a key component in the school environment. Trust at all levels, from leadership to faculty, from faculty to students, from the community to the school, from school to community, and from students to faculty and administration. It's an intertwined ball of trust. One strand broken, and it will be hard for the rest to be successful. According to the article, a multiple disciplinary analysis of the nature, meaning, and measure of trust is fundamental to functioning in our complex and interdependent society. That is true for our schools as well. Moran goes on to say that trust is necessary for effective cooperation and communication, the foundation of cohesive and productive relationships in the organization. In the article, School Mindfulness and Faculty Trust, Necessary Conditions for Each Other, a similar idea of trust is expressed. This article concludes that trust has facets: benevolence, predictability, competence, honesty, and openness. Benevolence means that there is confidence that one will not be harmed and is cared for. Reliability is predictable behavior. Competence shows that one knows or has the ability to do something. Honesty refers to one's character, and openness exhibits an atmosphere of sharing. It is pretty easy to understand how all of the facets would help build trust on all levels. With these qualities, teachers could trust administration could trust teachers, students could trust teachers, and so on. With all of these attributes in place, the learning environment would be effective for learning. One way for this trusting environment to take shape is through the administrator. The school climate starts at the top. If the leadership doesn't trust its teachers or is too controlling, the teachers may not feel appreciated or competent. Creativity in lessons is less likely. Moran, in her article, Fostering Teacher Professionals in Schools, calls the approach machine bureaucracy. She also goes on to explain the opposite, called professional organism, where teachers are in control as they work together as a group, collaborating to make decisions that affect their learning environment. The best model, Moran suggests, is what she calls professional bureaucracy. This is where leaders and teachers work hand in hand to create a school climate conducive to learning and where trust is held on both sides. With this trust in place, the trust between schools and communities and students will grow and thrive into a productive learning environment. For this to happen, there needs also to be a trait referred to as self-efficacy. This is the belief that one believes in their own capacity to achieve. One must believe in themselves to make it happen. Someone may have the ability to create something, but if they don't believe they can do it, the task will probably not be completed. In the article, Collective Efficacy Beliefs, Theoretical Development, Empirical Evidence, and Future Directions, there are three types of efficacy were discussed. Self-efficacy, judgments of students, teachers' own self-efficacy, and teachers' view of collective efficacy of their own school. The belief of ability and the truth ability need to be equal for a cohesive learning environment. Social capital is a term used to explain what benefits come from school relationships. In the article Social Capital as Exchange, Its Contribution to Morale, the idea of social capital hinges on the helpful social relations to enable the acquisition of information and resources. In other words, a strong relationship will foster trust and therefore foster learning in the school environment. These relationships foster the exchange of resources between participants as they learn from one another. So what can we do practically to foster trust between all of these stakeholders in education? One activity needs to be done is for the faculty and leadership of schools to work collectively, to collaborate on best practices for that particular school. In our school, we created a building leadership team. The team meets and discusses issues as a group and then brings the issues to the whole faculty to produce solutions as a full team. Another activity is professional learning communities. Teachers can join a team of other staff as they explore a topic of interest and to become more proficient in that area. This improves self-efficacy of that task and in turn more comfortable using that skill in the classroom. One such PLC our school has is for technology. Teachers who want to learn more about using technology can join the PLC, and that's led by someone who excels in that area. A third activity, and maybe it should have been the first one, would be a school climate survey. There is an old adage that says that the first step in fixing any problem is to admit that you have one. Sometimes parties may not even be aware that there is a disconnect between the stakeholders. To address any issues in the circle of trust, between all parties, awareness is necessary. A survey could be created that would help judge attitudes of the parents and community, teachers, and of course students. Once data is collected, a plan could be created to improve trust between all stakeholders. Through this podcast, I hope you have a new appreciation for trust in our educational system. All members of the educational cycle need to trust each other and to foster the best learning environment for our students. One big area to work on is with technology. Technology is increasing at a rate faster than what most educators can keep up with. It is imperative that the school climate foster opportunities for increased education for leadership and teachers in that area. More education will lead to more self-efficacy in the tech world. More self-efficacy will lead to more integration in the classroom and so on. The activities discussed in this podcast will contribute to the development, communication, and implementation of shared vision among the faculty. Standard NETS-C1A, and help implement strategies for initiating and sustaining technology innovations. Standard NETS-C1D.